Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing well. Today, you can see there, we finally have the SH Figuarts Pan from Dragon Ball Superhero. Now, I really was hyped for this figure. I liked Pan as a character. I thought it was cool that she was there in the movie and whatnot. Obviously, there's a lot of things that they're seeming to change about, obviously the end of Z. But yeah, I thought it was going to be a cool figure. But, upon the release, there's definitely been some ups and downs that a lot of people have reported, and a lot of different figure photos showing either how frail or how tight her joints are and stuff like that. So we'll definitely get into it all. But let's open her up and start talking about it. Alright, so now that we've got her open, we'll kind of just take a look here and see all of her little accessories. Now, it's not a lot for her price point. I think she was about between 45 and 50 bucks. I think more on the $50 side. I think it just depends where you ordered it from. But when you compare her to somebody like Anya Forager, for example, you're looking kind of side-eyed like, wow, this figure may come with maybe a little bit more, because she's coming with the 3 heads, or 4 faceplates, I guess you could say. An extra head for another character, 2 water bottles, and another hairstyle compared to Anya Forager. But those small characters, are they really worth it at the end of the day for that price point? I wouldn't say so. Anya Forager, for example, is just a lot smaller, thinner, has no real leg articulation, barely any arm articulation. More of a piece to just kind of have for, Spy X family, the family to get together. So, compared to Pan here, Pan is obviously a little bit better in that regard. She actually has articulation, but, there's still a lot of things in there I think Tamashii could have done, maybe just make it more worthwhile for people, because it's been a lot of skips. But you can very well see that she's got a softer plastic on the shirt, which allows it to split there. Anya Forager didn't have that, but here, well, she kind of did, but it wasn't as soft. It was very hard plastic, so it felt like you were ripping it off. So nice to see that here, but she doesn't have any real ab crunch, which we'll get into all the details of articulation later. But I just quickly wanted to kind of showcase her and talk about her design. So taking her out the box, because this is a voiceover in case you didn't recognize that at this point. But when I did take her out the box, she was stiff, like arms, legs, everything. Could hardly move them. So if you do have her, put her in some hot water maybe, or see if you can get some loosening figure joint oil. I don't know the specific brands, but you can definitely look it up and you'll find results on it. But yeah, definitely do that. It's just, you don't want to end up breaking this figure, having to buy another one or replacement parts. I don't see this figure selling that crazy on the aftermarket, but then again, it did, I think, sell out on Big Bad Toy Store for like, what is it, $89 or something. So hard to say. But yeah, I wanted to quickly start also talking about the Gohan stuff that came with this. So I'm gonna quickly jump over there, and then we'll also talk about some other stuff. And very quickly, since I brought that up on the camera, this figure was made in Vietnam, and it doesn't have any huge quality control issues that I could point out, other than everything is just super tight. As far as design flaws, that's more on Tamashii's part right there. But they did what they could, I guess. But her head is just really, really huge, and we'll talk more about that later too. But yeah, let's just jump in straight to the Gohan stuff, and then we'll talk about Pan's articulation. Alright, so very quickly, just talking about this Gohan head sculpt. Alright, I think it's cool that they gave us yet again another head sculpt. However, this one is behind another premium Bandai figure, so some people just won't be able to get a base Gohan head until DL Customs decide to announce theirs. But one big complaint I have is the fact that now we have 2 base heads. One that has glasses, one that doesn't. One of those heads should be able to have fit all of the Ultimate Gohan faces with no problem, just in my personal opinion. So the fact that that wasn't possible naturally is kind of annoying, because yes, you could just do the simple thing, do it yourself and shave down the pegs on the top of the forehead that you can kind of see up there, and it'll fit. But majority of people don't want to like potentially ruin their stuff, you know what I mean, especially if they're not well versed in that or just don't have the right tools to do it effectively. You know, people just don't want to do that. I feel like Tamashii maybe should have kept it in consideration that, oh, we have 2 base heads that we're shipping out. Let's see if we can make one of them, modify it so it can naturally fit all of the other faceplates that we've given, that way so people can pose, you know, Gohan fighting in base against Gamma 1 or whatever, with all those extra fighting expressions, you know, yelling, charging up, whatever. But that wasn't taken here, so unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you want to do that kind of stuff, like I said, you have to shave the top of the pegs down on Gohan's faceplates in order to get it to work. But yeah, a little bit of a letdown there, so that's my major complaint with this. But let's get into Pan's articulation. Now, what you'll see in this clip in particular is that I had a hard time like making sure I'm not breaking the fig. I probably should have just put it in water before reviewing it, but you know, I wanted to get it out the way, talk about the figure and whatnot, despite it being a little tight. So I just try to get around it. But what I will say right off the bat is that for me in particular, her right leg pops off. Not like it's a big issue, it just is easily to pop that peg out, so be wary of that. Also, the little wristbands, be careful about those if you take the hands off, because they will fall off, so just be cognizant of that. Also, her neck is just, it doesn't move, there's no range there, so just don't even try pushing the neck down like that. However, she has some pretty decent forward articulation in her head, move side to side and stuff like that, no problem. As for the arms, now they are on this ball hinge type peg, so you can twist the bicep shoulder part and kind of maneuver it that way. It is tight in that peg though, in the butterfly joint, so I would not mess with it too much until you put like some type of oil on it to loosen the joints. Just my personal opinion. But also on her elbow, she has these ball pegs. It's similar to Denji, but way smaller and more fragile, because she's just a smaller character. It's not, I don't feel like it's that secure in my personal opinion. I feel like it'll break at any moment I bend her arm. So what comes with a small figure is, unfortunately, they're just all frail. You know, that's the sad part. And I mean, they've done decent small figs before, but I mean, just at this scale, like with how they're doing it, they tried it and it's not the best. Like I said earlier in the video, she also really doesn't have an ab crunch, so you can't really do anything forward with her there. You can try to make the clothes work for you with posing, but I wouldn't even bother. They're not going to stay in place, so you really just have to kind of, you know, work it with the legs and what you got. Maybe use a stand, probably the best thing I can offer you. If you're going to try to have her sitting down, good luck, because that big head is going to make it a problem. That is what I'll say about that. As for her legs, as you can see, we can get it up almost in a full upright position, but not so quite. We can get her legs in a 90-degree angle. You do have to be wary of the, you know, swivel ball peg there, just because it can turn a whole bunch of different ways, as well as her calf like segment there. It can turn all in a whole 360, so be very wary of like how you're messing with that, and make sure it looks like it's aligned right. And of course, she has a toe hinge there. So that's pretty much it for articulation. There's nothing too fancy, it's nothing out of this world. Is it a figure worth your time? If you really like Pan, maybe. But she definitely is one of those figures that probably maybe could have been a general release. I mean, it's not like I see people picking up Anya Forge or like on the double when I go to stores anyway. what's the difference? You know what I mean? You could have made her a general release, I feel. But it is what it is. Tamashii likes to do this up and down sometimes, so maybe we'll see more characters not be, you know, premium bandai so much. Maybe more general releases next year. But I'm kind of glad we got Pan out the way. We can move on to some more stuff. Again, Pan is an okay figure, nothing too out of this world. You see there, I'm having a hard time struggling just to get her to get in a cool pose-ish, but that's as far as you can really take her sometimes. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's just jump into this last segment here with these this faceplate, as well as showing off her big old head. And there it is. There is Pan and Gohan. The size difference in the head is incredible to me. I do think that they could have scaled it down a lot more. If you've seen my community posts, go take a look at that and look at how Anya Forager's head on Pan's body looks. It definitely could have worked a lot better if they went on the more simpler side. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this figure. What do you guys think? Is Pan a cop for you? Are you still skipping it? You know, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pan is an okay figure. I don't think it's worth your money if you're really not interested in the character. Wait for a better Pan in the future potentially. But yeah, I will catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one. Peace.